Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is D back again with NKD58 Media, and I have another movie review for you. And this movie review is for the 1974 neo-noir film Chinatown. Alright, now Chinatown stars Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway. Now, a simplified description of the plot: Jack Nicholson plays Jake, a private investigator who is hired to investigate what he believes to be just a regular run-of-the-mill suspicion of adultery type situation, but that quickly turns into a much deeper, darker, and more corrupt situation than he bargained for. And there's some pretty kind of dark twists and turns that happen, some revelations that take place later on in the movie, and I will not get into any kind of spoiler type stuff. I'll leave it to you to check out the film. Consider this is a neo-noir genre film. This is actually one of the movies that kind of was considered one of the starters of the neo-noir genre, along with, you know, other movies. There's a movie that came out in 1967 called Point Blank that also was a big kind of starter of the whole neo-noir genre thing. And of course, the neo-noir genre of film is kind of a version of that old school film noir style of movies that was, you know, really heavy back in like the late 30s and then the 40s, and I think some of the early 50s as well. That kind of hard-boiled detective style mystery and drama. The neo-noir genre is kind of I guess a little bit of an update of that. It uses much of the same, if not all of the same kind of stylistics and characteristics, many of the same characteristics of the original film noir genre, but it's updated. It's a lot darker element, a lot more of a violent element, and also there's a lot more shades of gray. In neo-noir, there's a lot more kind of anti-hero type activity. You know, the good guys and the bad guys, the lines are blurred in terms of what they do, the actions they take, and how they behave. The lines of morality very much blurred and things like that. So that's kind of some of the newer elements that neo-noir kind of brings to the table. But anyway, so Chinatown, what did I think of this movie? First off, overall, I thought this was a very well made movie. It was a good movie. I mean, you could even go great, and I think I say it that way. I sound reluctant in giving it praise because this movie doesn't have any kind of true flaws that I can really nitpick about, particularly when it comes to the writing. This is a very efficiently written, well-written film. I've seen a lot of kind of talk about the screenplays being one of the greatest screenplays of all time. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but I don't necessarily disagree because it is a very well done screenplay, and I can't really point out flaws and things like that. But the thing about the movie is it's I've seen so much praise and adulation heaped upon the film. It's been at the top or near the top of a lot of film noir lists that I've been reading. And just a lot of good stuff being said about the movie, and I guess, you know, deservedly so. But I think I was going into the viewing with a very high expectation for this movie, and possibly an expectation that realistically wasn't going to be able to be met by this film, just due to circumstances and due to all of the more modern neo-noir films that I've seen years and years prior to ever seeing Chinatown, which I just watched literally within the past like 5 or 6 days or whatever. So there's things going on in Chinatown that aren't necessarily new kind of discoveries for me in terms of just ideas, visuals, and just there's a lot of kind of stylistic things that just obviously, because Chinatown was done in 1974, all of the neo-noir genre movies that I've seen that were made, you know, post 1985 or whatever, have utilized some style or some idea from Chinatown. So there isn't much in Chinatown, if really anything, that I was like blown away by. You know, that I just got to be honest, just like watching the movie, it was a good movie. I was entertained by it. I stayed engaged with it, and it was well written. Acting performances were all there, but it just didn't really like blow me away. So I don't really know. Once again, I'm not doing number scores anymore, so there's no kind of, I have no hot take in terms of a number grade to give this movie. I do recommend this film to fans of the neo-noir genre, and I do think this is a good movie and a really well-made movie. But I just gotta say, I can't say this is gonna be one of my favorite movies of all time, put it that way. And a lot of people that are fans of this genre have talked about Chinatown as if, like, most likely it's one of their favorite movies of all time. And I gotta be honest with you, as it stands right now, I can't really say it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I can't even say it's one of my favorite neo-noir movies of all time. I feel like I say that word so awkwardly, but neo-noir. I can't even say it's one of my favorite neo-noir films of all time. As it stands right now, but I pay my respects to it. It's kind of like when an elderly person speaks, there's this kind of, you almost feel this obligation to pay your respects and to listen and kind of, you know, regard their words in a little bit more kind of, you know, you hold them up a little bit because you respect the seniority. And that's kind of how I'm kind of treating Chinatown. I give it its respect because I can see the craftsmanship. I can see that it's well made. I can see how so many of the movies that I love kind of came from that, you know, that blueprint or whatever of style of film or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm coming with it. It's like I respect it. And I do think it's a good film and well made, but it didn't really just do a lot for me. I gotta be honest with you. So I do recommend it for fans of the genre because, you know, hey, know your history. You know, if you claim to be a fan of this genre, I do say, hey, you know, see some of the films that are considered classics within the genre, and I need to practice more of what I preach. But yeah, so that's why I would recommend this film. Sometimes I do this where I talk about double features. A good double feature to pair with this would be LA Confidential. To me, LA Confidential and Chinatown are two films that just go great together if you were going to take an afternoon out to watch some noir movies that kind of share a little bit of a similar kinship. Chinatown and LA Confidential would be a nice double feature. So 8 minutes, okay. So that's it, you guys. That's all I got for Chinatown. I recommend it, but I was a little bit underwhelmed. Still a good, very well made movie, but there's something like it wasn't as magical as, you know, I was kind of led to believe it would be. But I feel like there's some good reasons for that, some kind of real practical reasons. You know, sometimes it's about when you see something and what you've already seen and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's it, you guys. As always, thank you for watching, and until the next time, I will catch you on the next go round.